Brothers and sisters, listen closely, because this is life and death, and too many of our people don't even know it yet. You hold a gun in your hand and think you're protected, but that gun only works as long as fear doesn't control your hand, as long as the enemy doesn't catch you off guard, as long as you're strong enough, fast enough, lucky enough. But the protection of God, that is a protection that doesn't depend on luck. It doesn't depend on bullets. It doesn't depend on whether or not your weapon is loaded, whether or not your nerves are steady. The protection of God moves before danger arrives, and it shields you from traps you never saw coming. It closes the door that the enemy built to destroy you. It guides your mind when your emotions betray you. No weapon on earth can do that, and I'm telling you, any man, any nation, any people who put their faith more in a firepower than in their creator, they're already unprotected. Because a gun can guard your body, but God guards your destiny. And without destiny, you're just a man waving the middle of a gun in darkness. So we're going to break down why a gun is such a formidable weapon. Then we're going to see if being righteous offers you less, same, or more protection, which I will illustrate easily. And for you hard-headed people that's gonna say, well, I'm still carrying mine anyway, you have fun with it. But for the people who see the wisdom in what I'm saying, but you still may be skeptical about not having a gun with you in a world like this because you don't know people who have already done it successfully, that's cool. We're going to cover that too. I'm going to give you some examples, and I'm going to give you some reasoning that'll take it from just sounding good to really becoming applicable. Guns are mainly used for 4 reasons. 1, range. This distance equals an advantage. Being able to affect a target from a distance reduces the risk. The further you are, the less likely you are to be harmed. Before the threat reaches you, you're able to protect yourself. And the second reason for range is it neutralizes physical disparities. Somebody who weaker or lacking comeback skills is not at a complete disadvantage if they can act from a distance. The second reason folks use a gun is force or stopping power. This stopping power gives you a fast solution. More force reduces prolonged conflict. If I throw 1,000 pebbles at you, it's going to take a while for you to stop aggressing me. But if I hit you with 112 gauge, you're going to stop way faster. And the second reason for this force or for this stopping power is the same second reason as range. It neutralizes physical disparities. The third reason is ease of use. As long as you can move your shoulder and you can squeeze 4 pounds of pressure, you're able to use a gun. And this ease of use, it requires less training than something like a bow and arrow or something. And it don't require that much physical ability. The fourth reason, I think this the reason folks get a gun the most is the perception. If a man got a gun, he perceived as somebody that's willing to protect himself and his people. You perceived as a protector, that lower the probability of the attacker coming to you, and you gain respect from your peers and from women. No matter who you is, brothers attracted to women. So if women attracted to a man with a gun, brothers gonna get a gun. I can bear witness to this myself, because when I got a gun, before I was with my beautiful wife, I was with a woman, and I felt the ego boost of not only my peers and stuff, I felt the ego boost of the woman I'm with for me having this gun. But now offer me the opportunity to show you how we can achieve a superior form of protection in these exact same 4 ways. People trust a gun because it gives them range, the ability to stop a threat before it gets too close enough to harm you. But their protection only works if you see the danger coming, if your eyes are open, if your reflexes are sharp enough, if your fear doesn't freeze you. But when you submit to God, you gain a greater range, a protection that moves long before any danger reaches your doorstep. That's range. Because when you live right, when you elevate your character, your discipline, your purpose, you naturally remove yourself from the type of environments and traps that cause chaos and foolishness that produces harm in the first place. You're protected because you're no longer standing in a line of fire. That is defense from a distance. That is range. But here's the difference. With a gun, you depend on your ability to see the threat. With God, you depend on his ability to see the threat. So ask yourself, who sees farther? Who knows more? Who has the wisdom, the sight, the foresight to guard you from what you never even saw coming? A weapon can fail you. Your vision can fail you. Your judgment can fail you. But the protection of God does not and will not. People talk about stopping power like it only belongs to a weapon. A gun can end a physical threat fast. That's true. It neutralizes the size, the weight, the muscle of the man standing in front of you. That's true. But understand this, righteousness has stopping power too. When you live right, when you stand for truth, when you stand for discipline, loyalty to your people, your character becomes a shield. Because a man who serves his community, a man who uplifts his brothers, he earns a love and a respect no weapon can manufacture. Look at a man like Malcolm X. If he walked through the roughest neighborhood, do you really and truly believe that the brothers there would lift a hand against Malcolm? Absolutely not, bruh. It's not about Malcolm carrying a gun and Malcolm being the biggest and the baddest, because he only did that in the last year of his life, carrying a gun. He carried integrity. He carried love for his people. They didn't see Malcolm as an op. They didn't see Malcolm as a threat or an enemy. They saw him as a brother. And understand this. It is unnatural to harm your brother, but it's easy to harm someone you've seen or you have been taught to see as an enemy. When you build love, unity, and respect among your people, you gain protection. You gain power, more power than a steel than a gun can carry. They don't see your religion first. They don't see your occupation first. They don't see titles and labels and categories first. They see you as a brother first when you build that love. Everything else becomes secondary. And that stopping power is greater than the stopping power of a firearm. A righteous man, a man loved by his people, by his community, a man that got trust, is protected. In many ways, a firearm can't match. A gun stops the threat after a man already made it up in his mind to pull that trigger against you. The thought has to be present first, and then their actions carry out that thought. But with righteousness, it stops the thought in their head before it's even carried out. And that's way faster than the stopping power than a gun. Let me give you an example. If I'm a brother in the hood, another brother with me, we see, let's say Malcolm, for example, walking down the street. We like, bro got money, bro got this, bro got that, man. We can rob Malcolm, we can da-da-da-da. He give me that evil suggestion. If I look at Malcolm as an op, as a nigga, as an enemy, as anything else other than a brother or other than a righteous man, I'd be like, man, come on, let's go through with it. But me seeing him as a brother gives him that protective shield. So soon as another brother try to whisper evil suggestions in my ear, I'm able to say, yeah, nah, I can't do bro like that. That stopping power start in the brain. That stopping power 10 times out of 10 beat the stopping power of a gun, because with a gun, he already had it in his brain. Then you waited long enough for it to not only be in his brain, sitting and settle in his brain, it manifested into actions. But with the righteousness of the man's character, with how you identify him, how you perceive him, that stop instantly in the brain. As soon as the thought pop up in the brain, the stopping powers pop up in the brain. Now you tell me which stopping power is more superior. That is the protection of God moving in the hearts of your people. And listen to this. Protection doesn't depend on your size. Whether you stand at 6'5" or 5'5", that don't matter when your community see you as family. Brotherhood neutralizes physical disparities that would make you even be vulnerable in the first place. When you rely on the gun alone, you relying on the weakest form of protection, because the black man you feel that you need to shoot, he is not your enemy. He is just a vessel that the real enemy has manipulated, conditioned, and programmed. Look at the numbers. The majority of violence against black people is by black people. Cool, I ain't shocked you there. But why? Not because black people are naturally violent or naturally enemies to one another, but because we are constantly pushed, pressured, and tricked into harming ourselves. And who sets the stage for that type of harm? Red line neighborhoods, the projects, liquor stores, and fast food on every corner, abortion clinics placed strategically in our communities, jobs denied because of the color of our skin, Drugs funneled into the black community from hands that are not black. These conditions were not accidents. They were engineered to keep the black man fighting against his own reflection. So when you use a gun on your brother, you're not solving a problem. You are treating a symptom. It's like having a filthy room, and that room attract roaches. You can step on each roach you see, but more will come back tomorrow. The problem isn't that roach you just stepped on. The problem is the filth someone keeps dragging into your home. And we've tried cleaning the room. We tried cleaning the home. Black leaders, black mothers, black fathers, they scrub and sweep every day. But someone keeps walking right back in, dropping more dirt. So cleaning alone is not enough. Yes, we must clean the room. We must clean the house. But we also must identify who's tracking the dirt in and stop letting them in the door. Let me be clear so you don't miss what I'm saying. The black brother you think you need to kill with your gun is not the root of your pain. He's the roach. He's not the cause. The real solution is to stop the hands that keeps dragging in the dirt in the room, the forces that encourage the black man to destroy himself and his own people. A gun cannot solve that. A gun cannot fix that. A gun cannot purify a poison system. Knowledge can. Discipline can. Unity can. Righteousness can. Your weapon might remove one roach, but it will never clean the whole room or clean the whole house. And our people need a clean house more than they need another bullet fired. A gun is easy to use, so it's a go-to choice. That makes sense. But using God as your protection is just as easy, and it's a better protector, which we've been covering. People act like turning to God is super complicated and super difficult and hard. But let me show you how simple it really is. A man picks up a gun in the same way a man picks up faith. First, he learns what it is. Then he learns how to use it. Then he carries it with him wherever he goes. That's it. You study the weapon. You like, all right, cool. You practice the weapon. And then when life demands it, you trust the weapon. Well, belief in God working the same way, but with far greater power. You learn who he is. You learn how to use his guidance and how his guidance works. Then you carry that guidance with you every day until the moment life tests you and you finally get to see the protection you were holding the entire time. A gun sit in your hand, but God sit in your heart. And let me tell you, the man who carries God walks with a protection that no metal, no trigger, no bullet can ever match. Now let's cover our fourth point, which I think is the most utilized reason brothers get a gun. They want to appear as protectors. They want the woman they with to feel safe, and they want the enemy to think twice before they approach them. This is understandable, especially in a world where the black man has been made to feel unprotected. But let us speak truth plainly. A weapon on your waist might make a woman notice your boldness, but it will never make her trust your leadership. Why people keep calling me? The woman with proper sight, the woman whose mind has risen above the cheap symbols of manhood, knows that a gun can only defend the body. It cannot defend the soul, the home, or the future, which are more stressors to her every day than her stressing about her physical safety. The true protection of a man comes from the God he serves. The discipline he lives by, the armor of righteousness he wears. No metal can replace that. No intimidation of another black man can equal that. The gun may make you look like a protector, but God makes you become one. And when you with a woman, if she value you carrying a gun on your waist more than she value your righteous character, that's a woman you don't even need in your life anyway. Simple as that. And I ain't trying to be hypocritical. I feel victim to that when I was younger. But now that I got past that, now that I got a superior sight than I had before, I'm trying to express to you, don't fall in them same footsteps. If you get with a woman and this woman values something that puts you in a position to be in situations you don't even need to be in, to stand up for stuff you don't even need to stand up for. This is a woman that is guiding you and influencing and persuading you to be the type of man God don't even want you to be. Why would you be with a woman that goes against the man that God wants you to be? Who has a more superior vision for you? Her or God? Simple as that. So if God wants you to look out for the other black brother, to be a righteous man, why would you carry a gun that's gonna give you this Superman complex mentality that, man, if a nigga try me, I'ma blow a nigga ass off. Yeah, you can blow a nigga ass off. But is you willing to go do 25 to life? Because you don't know the law that damn good. You don't know exactly when you can blow his ass off, when you can't blow his ass off. Let's say he do transgress you. Let's say you do something wrong, and by law you are able, it is in your boundaries to blow his ass off. Is you gonna do it? You gonna take another black man for his family, for him acting in ignorance? Now if a black man try to take your life, try to harm you in a way that puts your life at risk or your family life at risk, kill him. No matter who he is, black, white, Asian, do it to him. But if a brother acting ignorant, and out of his ignorance that he been taught, like we said earlier, we've been conditioned to act this way. It ain't necessarily on him 100%. He's been the victim of multiple attacks that poison his mind to make him carry out these actions. So are you gonna harm a man, kill your own brother that's not in his right mind? Is that righteous on your behalf? If you believe in God, you say you God-fearing, and you got Bible quotes in your bio, and when you post a picture and your caption, you got Bible quotes and crosses and all this and that. But how will God feel about you killing a man that's not even in his right mind? Especially when this man trying to actively take your life. Let's take it to another extreme. Let's say the man robbed you. He taking something valuable from you, but the man not in his right mind. You gonna take the man's life over a little material you can get the money for the buy back again? You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not telling you to be cowardly, but I'm telling you to think for the greater whole. Now, say that same man that robbed you, say this man was to grow up, change his thought process, develop a different mind, develop a different heart, and now he changed his ways. He ain't no robber no more. This is an upright man. Now you still living too. So now we got two upright men in this community. That makes sense. Like, I was a brother who didn't have my mind on right, that didn't engage in the best activities. What if somebody would have killed me? You see what I'm saying? Now I feel like I'm way better than I was previously. But what if I didn't get the chance to grow into that? But I ain't even gonna go down that rabbit hole. We're gonna just keep it right there. We're gonna keep this video topic only about guns. I appreciate y'all tapping into this episode of the Don't Be a Viking podcast. If y'all enjoyed what y'all watched, man, share it. If y'all think it's useful, y'all think it's helpful, share it to somebody else. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see y'all back on the next episode of the Don't Be a Viking podcast. Check out the clips, check out the Instagram, all that good stuff. Yes, sir, Ski. Man, who keep calling me? Hey, it was some little 5 quotables in there. Come on, bro.